Hey everybody, and welcome back. Today we are going to be taking a look at Finality's Auger, which is the exotic linear fusion that drops from the Sundered Doctrine dungeon. We'll go over how this weapon works, some number stuff about some DPS values, this one's a little bit odd, as well as best ways to go about obtaining this weapon. However, before we begin, like always, if you like this video or found it helpful, like and subscribe are the best ways to support me. My Twitch is also linked down below if you ever want to catch some streams, although I'm hoping to start streaming on YouTube soon as well. Finality's Auger is going to be a random drop from the final encounter of the Sundered Doctrine dungeon. If you did complete the dungeon on contest, then you'll already have this weapon. Otherwise, it is a random drop once per character per week. And at the time of writing this, they have fixed the bug that was causing it to not drop, so you do have another set of chances this week if you're watching this in the second week that the dungeon's been out. In addition, there will also be another contest weekend next weekend, February 22nd for 24 hours, where if you manage to complete it, you will also get this exotic guaranteed. As for some actual things about the weapon itself, it is a single-shot, heavy, exotic, solar linear, and it does about the same damage as a normal single-shot linear, which against the boss I tested on was 53,464. That was consistent across Cataclysmic, which was the main thing I compared it to, especially since Cataclysmic also gets the perk that this will have as its catalyst, which is Bait and Switch. All of this testing was done without the catalyst. Bait and Switch is very easy to calculate in for this weapon as it's just a 30% increase, so you can just take my numbers and multiply them by 1.3 and that will be what you need. A couple times here where I do add those numbers in myself, I will specify, but general rule of thumb is the base numbers will be about 30% higher once the catalyst is available. The thing that makes this exotic unique though is that it has a reload toggle that allows you to fire a special shot that creates a turret that you can then use to paint a target like an airstrike for 15 seconds, and it will shoot a barrage of bolts, and that barrage hits 6 times for about 4,782 damage each, which is 28,692 per barrage, and the barrage mode will go for about 7 to 8 shots before you have to mark a target again, which is about 15 seconds that you get a target actually painted for. And in that duration, you can expect to get 320,784 damage from shots out of each mag and 215,190 damage from the turret. Keep in mind, I'm also testing without particle reconstruction just because that is not a permanent mod. These numbers will be a bit higher this season with particle reconstruction available. But this weapon then breaks down into about a 15-second cycle of damage. Since that's how long you have before the turret needs to be redirected to a target. And in that time, in that 15-second time frame, you could fire roughly 10 shots, starting from the 3 you'll have in the mag after spending 3 to make your first turret, which gives us the math that you see here on your screen, which is going to be 10 shots times 53,564 per shot, plus the 215,190 from the turret, which is 751,030 total. But then I went ahead and added in Bait and Switch for times 1.3 to get 976,339 when you add in the catalyst. The actual number is going to be a tiny bit lower due to Bait and Switch timer, but for simplicity's sake, we're going to use this value as it won't actually make much of a difference when comparing it to other weapons. And that gave Finality's Auger a DPS over that 15-second window of roughly 65,089. Naturally, we're going to be comparing this to Queenbreaker, since that is the go-to linear this season, and Queenbreaker has a lot of things going for it, especially the fact that as of the time I'm writing and recording this video, it is available from Xur. You're able to purchase this with strange coins from Xur. In one shot, Queenbreaker does 33,438 per hit times 3, which is 100,314 total per shot. So in that same 15-second window, when you factor in reloads, rewind rounds, etc., Queenbreaker will fire about 12 shots, which is going to be 100,314 times 12 for 1,203,786 damage total, and a DPS of about 80,251. Now, keep in mind, again, Finality's Auger will be a little bit stronger once the catalyst is available, but in the calculation we used here, we did math that in. But in my opinion, it's still a bit gimmicky because it's not too crazy, it's not too terrible. I personally have been using this weapon a bit in the Nether and in Nightfalls, and I think it'll be much better there than in raids or dungeons because of the ammo efficiency that you get out of firing the turret. See, my general opinion on linears is that linears are really good at doing damage, but they always take a very long time to do it, and they need efficiency in their perks and ammo economy to do so. What do I mean by efficiency? Efficiency is going to be essentially the fact that linear fusions need to get through a lot of ammo to put up their big numbers, but they can take a very long time to do it. The turret in this case provides efficiency for ammo, but not for time. Tri-burst linears have some ammo efficiency built in due to the amount of damage they do per single ammo consumed, but the very best ones like Queenbreaker or even the legendary scintillation that drops from Nightfalls have other things going for them that save time, like rewind rounds, Vice Stinger, or charge time reducing effects and mods like Queenbreaker and the Adept scintillation having access to Adept charge time. These contribute to much higher damage per second values without needing to put out the entire reserve worth of damage, which is why I think that tri-burst linears especially tend to be better than the single shot ones. And even in the case here where we have something like Finality's Auger, I still almost want to go for Cataclysmic more, only because Cataclysmic also gets 4th times the charm, which I think can help it in cases where it might have an advantage. However, when looking at Nightfalls, linears are a little tricky to use because, well, you want something that you can actually use quite a bit as your heavy weapon, right? And Finality's Auger, I feel like, can fill that niche really, really well because the turret you'll be able to put up and use it to help clear some of the stronger enemies that come out and even work on champions, just in Nightfalls in general, especially with this season having anti-champion mods for linears and normal fusion rifles. I do think Finality's Auger will find a home in my GM loadouts rather than my raid and dungeon loadouts going forward. However, I also want to know what you all think. If you'd like, leave a comment. Let me know if you have different thoughts on Finality's Auger. I am hoping to get back to making more regular videos, only because I know I missed most of Echoes and Revenant. I've just been busy with work, because remember, YouTube is not my job. I also have a full-time job in addition to this, as well as just other personal obligations to do. And yeah, I think that I want to get back to making more regular Destiny content. I'm also going to try and have a video up on Barrow Dyad soon, since I think it's an interesting weapon. But yeah, thank you all for watching if you made it this far. Your support is always greatly appreciated. And yeah, I'll see y'all in the next one. Later, everyone.